The dense forests of Kepler 442b had become Daniel's sanctuary and prison for 3 years. Once a decorated sergeant in the Terran Defense Corps, he now lived like a ghost among the towering crystalline trees, his military-issue gear long since adapted for survival. The court-martial had stripped him of rank, honor, and home, all for refusing an order that would have meant civilian casualties. Earth didn't want soldiers with consciences, it seemed. Mino found him on a Tuesday, though neither of them knew Terran time anymore. The Zephyrian widow approached his hidden shelter with the careful grace of her species, her forearms held in the traditional gesture of peaceful intent. Her scaled skin shimmered blue-green in the alien sunlight, and her large, multifaceted eyes reflected both intelligence and desperation. "Human soldier," she spoke in accented standard, her translator device crackling with interference. "We know you are here. We need your help." Daniel emerged from behind his camouflaged lean-to, plasma rifle lowered but ready. 3 years of exile had honed his instincts to a razor's edge. "I'm not a soldier anymore. Find someone else." "There is no one else," Mino replied, her secondary arms gesturing toward the valley below. "The hegemony took our males, our children, our hope. You are all that remains of the warrior caste on this world." That evening, Mino led Daniel to a hidden cave system where 4 other Zephyrian females waited. Each bore the ritual scars of widowhood, their shells dulled by grief and malnutrition. They had been the wives of the resistance leaders, scientists, engineers, tacticians, all executed when the hegemony's occupation force arrived 6 months prior. The eldest, Kira, spoke with the authority of someone who had once advised generals. "The humans fought the hegemony for decades before the peace treaty. We studied your tactics, your innovations. No other species has turned warfare into such an art." "Art?" Daniel laughed bitterly. "That's a generous way to describe mass destruction. Necessary." "Destruction," corrected Vera, the youngest of the 5. Her scales still bore the bright patterns of recent mating, now forever incomplete. "The hegemony believes in order through extinction. They erase cultures like cleaning databanks." As the weeks passed, Daniel learned their stories. Lix had been married to the chief engineer who had designed the planetary shield generators, now turned against the population. Nora's husband had been the communications specialist who had sent their desperate plea across the galaxy, only to watch it fall on deaf ears. Sarah's mate had been the Resistance's strategist, his plans dying with him in a hegemony interrogation chamber. Against his better judgment, Daniel began training them. "Humans don't win through superior technology," he explained as he taught them to construct improvised explosives from mining equipment. "We win through adaptability, through doing what no one expects." The Zephyrian females proved to be quick learners. Their forearms gave them advantages in multitasking that even enhanced humans couldn't match. More importantly, they possessed something Daniel had lost: unshakable purpose. "Why did you refuse your orders on Earth?" Mino asked during one of their planning sessions. They had been working together for 2 months, and the question had been building between them like static before a storm. Daniel was quiet for a long moment, cleaning his rifle with mechanical precision. "Command wanted us to orbital bombard a city. Said it was harboring insurgents. Maybe it was, but there were a million civilians down there, children. And you chose exile over compliance. I chose to sleep at night." The hegemony's weakness, Daniel realized, was their rigid hierarchy. They couldn't conceive of coordination without central command. When the 6-person cell struck, they hit 17 targets simultaneously: power grids, communication arrays, transportation hubs. Not enough to defeat the occupation, but enough to sever the connections between outposts. In the chaos that followed, something remarkable happened. Other resistance cells, thought destroyed, emerged from hiding. The Zephyrians had been wrong. Their rebellion wasn't dead, only scattered. But it had taken a human's tactical doctrine and 5 widows' determination to rekindle it. The hegemony. Response was swift and brutal. Orbital strikes rained down on suspected rebel positions. Civilians were rounded up for processing. The occupation force's commander, a hulking Cronin named Thex, broadcast ultimatums on all frequencies. "This human pestilence ends now," his synthesized voice boomed across the planet. "Surrender the terrorist Daniel Connor, or watch your cities burn." That night, as they huddled in their cave listening to distant explosions, Sarah voiced what they all knew. "He will sacrifice himself for us. It is the human way." "Not this human," Mino said firmly. "We finish this together, or we die together. No more widows." The final assault came at dawn. Using the shield generator's own power grid as a weapon, they turned the planetary defense system into the galaxy's largest EMP device. In the seconds of system-wide blackout that followed, the ground-based resistance struck. Hegemony ships, their electronics fried, fell like metallic rain. Standing in the ruins of the command center, watching the last transport ships flee the atmosphere, Daniel felt something he hadn't experienced in 3 years: pride without shame. Mino approached him, her scales now bearing the ritual patterns of victory rather than mourning. "What will you do now, human soldier?" Daniel looked out at the rebuilding city, where Zephyrians worked alongside humans and a dozen other liberated species. "I think I'll stick around. Seems like you might still need a tactical advisor." "And perhaps," Mino said, her large eyes reflecting something that might have been hope. "A friend." In the end, the exiled soldier had found something worth more than redemption, a place where being human meant something beyond the capacity for destruction. It meant the choice to build something better from the ruins of what came before.